All right. Good evening, everyone. Tracy here. Tracy Cromwell with your personal journey with food and Tough Love Tuesday. Anyway, recording live. So lots of stuff can happen when I go live. The cat, gosh, I'll lose my lights. Anything can happen. And I actually had a little bit of a issue just now that I think I fixed. But anyway, welcome to Tough Love Tuesday. I'm Tracy Cromwell, recording live. So for those of you listening on the podcast later, just again, recording live, no edits, just broadcasting. So tonight, I wanted to bring to you, I had an idea of kind of a spin the wheel type thing going on for these podcasts coming up. So I'll either be spinning a wheel and I'll talk about a chapter from my book, Your Personal Journey with Food, or I'll spin on the wheel from in the book. I've got what's called the Life Radar. So Life Radar means, and as an integrated nutrition health coach, I look at all aspects of someone's life because we can think of nutrition as being just food, what we put into our bodies, but actually we also have what's called primary nutrition. And primary nutrition comes from, our experiences, basically our home environment, our physical activity, our health, joy, spirituality, relationships, finances, creativity, social life, career, education, and yes, food. And so I'm going to be doing spinning the wheel, and depending on where it lands, that's going to be the topic or the guest that I'll be having on the show. So tonight, the wheel actually landed on. I spun the wheel for the book, and we landed on chapter 1 of Your Personal Journey with Food, which I thought was perfect. And tonight, I said that I would discuss the things that helped me kind of launch off into my future as someone that didn't diet anymore, who didn't face yo-yoing anymore. And again, it's just the beginning aspect of taking that journey, right? I'll be able to tell you my experiences, and you may find that either, oh my gosh, you'll say, gosh, I felt the same way, or no, that didn't really happen to me, but oh my gosh, this is kind of what I see happening with myself. And so my hope tonight is just to give you some tidbits to think about if you are looking to move into a journey that is free from dieting, anything like that. This one's for you. So how I started, some of you might know that I was a yo-yo dieter. I think my first diet, I was 18. That was in the 80s. And back then we were told to eat, the food pyramid was all bread and pasta and everything like that. And I realized that a lot of my dieting journey started then, because it seems like there was nothing I could do if I was eating the way I was told by the food pyramid, and all the studies. Then, and I was still gaining weight. Obviously, there was something wrong with me. And so that's when this whole aspect started, where I just got really upset with my body and I couldn't figure out why, if I was eating the way I was told, was I gaining weight. So jump into the future. Of course, we all know now that, oops, that was probably not the best way to educate the country on how to eat, is processed foods, breads and things like that. But in my own experience, I know now my body just, I eat stuff like that all the time. Guess what? I'm going to retain water. I'm going to gain weight. I'm going to get bloated. I'm not going to feel good. But I didn't know that at first. So, and I didn't have a clue about it. And so tonight, I'll just talk about, my journey was not a magic pill. I tried every magic pill in the world. I tried 500 calorie diets. I tried just smoothie diets. I tried restriction. I tried everything. And when, okay, I would either jump off the bandwagon because it was too hard and I couldn't even figure out how to live and to enjoy my life. Or as soon as I would lose the weight, I would think, oh, I can go back to doing what I used to do, and I can go ahead and eat the way I did. And guess what? I put the weight back on and things like that. And so my advice tonight through chapter one and also the introduction is just that one thing you can do is really just put the brakes on, put the blinders on, just say, stop. I'm going to stop looking for the next fad. I'm going to stop looking outside myself in regard to some of these significant answers that only you're going to know, that only you're going to know how it feels. And only you'll be looking at things with a mindset that you have brought from experience, from maybe what you've learned to the table. So, the one main thing that you can do is really, again, stop and assess your surroundings. So one thing we love to talk about in the book is just thinking like you have a GPS, right? You plug you're driving in your car, it knows where you are. You plug in an address. Hopefully it actually takes you to the right one, but you plug it in, let's say correctly, and it's going to guide you to where you need to go. But if you don't know where you are in relationship to a mindset towards your food, maybe towards your body, things like that, it can be hard to know really where to start. And so, highly recommended you figure out where you are in regards to your mindset and how you think about food. And so, um, Ingrid wrote chapter one, my co-author, and she's discussing again that mindset. We have been marketed to that food is how do I say it? Savory or sinful treats or certain things. We can build relationships around food of good food or bad food. So when you bring to the table knowing what your mindset is towards food, that's basically giving you your pinpoint of where you are. So for me, I had in many cases just no concept of even what I thought about food. It was just something I put in my mouth that I'm supposed to eat. And my body basically should just do what I wanted to, no matter what it was that I ate. But also, too, you're growing up as a kid and you're served certain foods. And there were six kids. My oldest sister moved out when I was still pretty young, but then there was five of us, and I still remember sitting around the table. And this is important, even going back to this. I remember sitting around the table, and I knew how much food had been made and I was watching everybody else. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't hurry up and eat, I may not get seconds. And so there was this sort of a thing where I had to hurry up and eat. I had to get seconds because I knew it would be gone. There wouldn't be any leftovers in the fridge tomorrow. And so I developed a habit of pretty much kind of overeating out of just that, something minor in a way you would think, but very important to me later in life and how I would look at my food. So that could be helpful. Like what in your upbringing or whatever, how were you raised around food? What was the mindset around food? Cleaning your plate. Didn't matter if you were hungry or not, you were still eating, that kind of a thing. But, back to that GPS concept. So if you put in the right programming in that GPS, it's going to take you to the right place. So really, before you're starting a journey to lose weight, you definitely want to figure out where you're at. Okay, so mindset is very important. It can drive our food choices. Again, preconceived things that we grew up around, and so it's good to explore your feelings around food. So belief number one that we talk about is that basically eating healthy or eating in a supportive way to your body just couldn't possibly be enjoyable. So sometimes when we diet, we deprive ourselves. We think that we're suffering. We can't have enjoyable food. But it's interesting too that there are so many words that go around food being enjoyable, comforting, appealing, appetizing, delectable, delicious, delightful, lip smacking. So if you look at marketing around food, there's definitely a type of concept around, oh my gosh. And usually those words are around ice cream or candy or something like that. But I don't know if we ever hear about it being about broccoli or something like that, right? But but we can definitely look at food in a bit of a different way where um, you know, foods that can contain what's called L-tryptophan we talk about, which just makes things enjoyable. But there's other ways to get that through spices and adding to help, some more supportive foods to your diet. Okay. So eating in a way that supports your body, meaning supporting it with quote unquote healthy food. And I say quote unquote because one person's healthy food may be somebody else's very unhealthy food. So everyone's different. Okay. But we can eat in a way that supports our body and actually have it be very enjoyable. In fact, I enjoy food now more than I ever did. So that can be a belief that you may have not knowingly put into your mind that eating a healthy way can't be enjoyable, but it really can, especially when you are able to, through your food journey, which is what this book is about, and which my coaching is about, is figuring those things out so you can enjoy your meals, so you know your body is going to thrive. And then when the day you want to have that delectable ice cream, you want to have a treat like that, there's no guilt associated anymore. Okay. So finding out that belief, what's your belief? And one is definitely, it could be that eating healthy can't be enjoyable. So the other one, could be the most delicious food is unhealthy food. So kind of goes back to what I was just talking about. Oh, candy bar. I've talked about this before. Skittles for me, Runts, any sugary, really crazy, I'm salivating already. I am programmed. I remember when I first started eating stuff like that, I was really young. Um, and so it was hard for me to go from say, oh my gosh, I'm going to go down the market. I'm going to get those runts and my taste buds are going to be so excited and happy. But then at first to say, oh, but really should I have some berries instead? And I kind of get disappointed. My brain gets a little disappointed. But now that I know, again, through my journey, I know how awful I feel when I eat the other stuff that I thought was most delicious. I'm able to compromise with my mind and say, hey, I'm going to have the berry. It's more delectable. It's better serving to us. We're going to feel better. But again, every now and then I might treat myself and totally enjoy, that, as we say, it's sinful treat. Okay. So it's important. List your favorite foods, figure out those things. And then, even ask yourself, is there a food that you didn't like as a child that you like now? I'm pretty sure there probably is. I have a lot of them, except liver and onions. Didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. You can't get me to eat that at all. So just looking again at what did you grow up with? And again, this is going to lead you to where you are today and your beliefs around food. A belief number 3 could be pleasure's a bad thing. So we find pleasure, we celebrate around food. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's some way that we've been programmed so that we will eat. I don't know, someone could look that up. That'd be really interesting. Our DNA or setting is that we seek pleasure through food so that we do consume food for survival, right? So, but anyway, the concept of sometimes we can get subliminal programming that leads to the idea, of good or bad foods, possibly making the act of eating something stressful, right? For some, if not many, where some will eat in a closet and hide. Or if you do have that treat and you feel guilty later, right? We can have a belief around food like that. And I definitely had that in the past. I would trying to think back, probably early 20s. I remember having my little stash of Reese's peanut butter cups under the bed, and I would eat them and I didn't want anyone to know because it was bad. So really interesting. that can be wrapped around food as well. Um, so another thing you can do, to go through just some thought processes of what your relationship with food is. Why do you think it is the way it is? And doing it in a very non-judgmental way. Okay, so leave judgment at the door. It has no business. You've got enough dealings with other things in life than for your brain to be judging you um, on things. And even though it's trying to help you, just leave judgment at the door. You're just going to explore what is going on with your relationship with food, and and so basically giving yourself that that permission. Allow yourself to have a non-judgmental commitment to just exploring this and figuring out where you're at with this. So being really curious, kind to yourself. Um, some of you've been watching my shows or listening to my podcasts and stuff, or have worked with me before. I talk a lot about just have fun being this incredible super sleuth. What can we discover? Oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought about this as something that could possibly have made me want to eat specific things. So just have a lot of fun. Um, the other thing too is just releasing the rules a bit, the rules around food, and depriving, being having a deprived attitude towards food. Like, I'm just not going to eat any more bread. I won't eat any more bread, or I'm not going to have another Skittle. Whatever it is, I'll never do it again. And is that really a realistic thing, right? So if you give yourself opportunity to grow through this, then those judgmental aspects kind of wane away. Other good thing to do as you're progressing, just trying to figure out where you are. Again, you do this non-judgmentally, but um, I, and I'll be very honest with you. This is something that is very hard for me to do. And I didn't like doing it either. But I did it, even though I didn't like it, was just taking note of what I was eating. But I didn't take notes of what I was eating out of, shame, but it was more just discovery. Okay. So no shame around what I was eating, because it was really important later, um, when I would start making connections. Okay. So again, non-judgmental attitude towards yourself. Write down what you're eating as in terms of becoming a super sleuth. You don't necessarily have to change anything yet. It's trying to just say, what's my mindset around what I'm eating? And then third is, every week explore your behavior around food. So it's every week you kind of go back and you look. You can kind of see ebbs and tides. You can figure out, gosh, that day wow, I can't believe I ate all of that. Well, there's judgment. But you say, oh my gosh, I remember that day. I was very stressed. Something happened and I wasn't prepared. And wow, I didn't even realize that stress made this happen for me. It's that kind of thing. And so, um, in terms of launching out to, again, my non judgmental, my journey to where I don't yo-yo diet anymore, was a lot of this, that initial aha kind of thing. So, um, this is probably not going to be a very long Tough Love Tuesday today. I really have said what I wanted to say. It took patience and kindness to get started. It took a decision to get started. Um, I did have a fear of getting started because I didn't want to fail again. So that was a little scary for me, um, but initially I just, again, non-judgmental clause to myself, give myself permission to learn, and understanding, again, like Ingrid was writing about, the mindset that drives our food choices. So anyway, it's a very quick Tough Love Tuesday. Really recommend just, deciding you're going to figure out where you're at right now with your food choices, and even discover where they came from. dump the dump the judgment is what I mean to say, and have fun with that. And I do write in the book a lot. If you discover some things that are pretty heavy duty and you need, feel like you're a bit lost because of the connections that you're finding, definitely create a team around you, a health team around you. That can be counselor, therapist, definitely medicinal doctors, your standard doctor, a naturopath, an integrative nutrition doctor, a health coach, a trainer. But, start looking at things like, wow, so realize you don't have to do the journey alone. And let's see, I think that was pretty much what I wanted to say. So, short, tough love Tuesday. Again, you can do this. Just figure out where you're at. Also, you can find me if you want to follow me. You can find me on Instagram, follow me here on Facebook, also on YouTube. And then podcast, if you've not ever tuned into the podcast, you'll find it on most all podcast stations. So go ahead and just look up my name, Tracy Cromwell, or Your Personal Journey with Food podcast. Okay, everyone. Well, that's it. That's how I started out. And you can do it too. And I will be back next week. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.